Welcome, traveler. You've reached the quiet edge of the universe, where the stars whisper stories meant to be heard in the dark. Tonight, leave the noise of the world behind as we drift through distant galaxies, forgotten worlds, and futures yet to unfold. Settle in, relax your mind, and let your imagination float among the stars. This is Ready Set Story, sci-fi tales to guide you gently into sleep. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales like these. Thank you for listening. The signal beneath the skin. The first signal arrived at 2:17 a.m., and only 12 people on Earth heard it. Not through radios or satellites, but inside their heads. Dr. Mara Klein woke up choking on air, her heart slamming against her ribs as if trying to escape. The room was dark, silent, ordinary. Yet something was wrong. A pressure pulsed behind her eyes, rhythmic and deliberate. 3 short pulses. A pause. Then one long vibration that rattled her teeth. She rolled out of bed, knocking over a glass of water. The pressure stopped the moment her feet hit the floor. Mara stood frozen, listening to her own breathing. Stress hallucination, she whispered. Lack of sleep. That's what she told herself, until her phone buzzed. Unknown group message, 12 members. Did anyone else feel that? By sunrise, Mara was in a secure video call with 11 strangers. A radio astronomer in Chile. A Navy sonar technician in Japan. A linguistics professor in Norway. A trauma nurse in Chicago. A convicted hacker broadcasting illegally from somewhere in Eastern Europe. Different lives. Different time zones. Same experience. It wasn't sound, said the sonar tech. It bypassed my ears. It had structure, the linguist said. Like language. The hacker leaned close to his camera, eyes bloodshot. I've been tracking anomalous data spikes for months. You people are the receivers. Mara's stomach twisted. Receivers of what? No one answered. Then the pressure returned. Stronger this time. Words formed, not heard, not spoken, but understood. We are already here. Half the call dropped instantly. One man screamed before his feed cut to black. Mara tore off her headset, gagging as blood trickled from her nose. Outside her apartment, car alarms began to wail. News outlets blamed a localized power surge for the disruptions. They didn't report the disappearances. Entire families gone from locked homes. Surveillance footage skipping minutes at a time. Hospitals reporting patients who suddenly had no medical history, no fingerprints, no DNA records. Mara noticed something worse. She was losing time. She'd sit down to review data and blink, only to find hours gone and her computer filled with files she didn't remember creating. Complex schematics. Anatomical overlays of the human brain. Highlighted in red, the limbic gateway. When she touched the screen, the pressure returned. This time, it felt intimate. You were chosen because you can withstand US. Mara slammed the laptop shut. No, she said aloud, shaking. You don't get to choose me. Silence. Then a new sensation bloomed beneath her skin. Movement. The hacker resurfaced 2 days later, pale and frantic. I broke into classified archives, he said. This has happened before. 1947, 1979, 1998. Why don't we remember? The nurse asked. Because they didn't fail last time, he said. They integrated. Mara felt cold. The aliens weren't invading. They were updating. Human consciousness was incompatible with long-term survival. Too emotional. Too divided. The signal was a patch, a rewrite, using select minds as anchors. The ones who resist, the hacker swallowed. They don't die. They disappear. As if summoned by the words, his feed glitched. Something moved behind him. Too tall. Too still. wearing his face like a mask that didn't quite fit. "Mara," it said, in his voice and not his voice. "You understand now." The call ended. Mara locked herself in her bathroom, staring at her reflection. Her pupils dilated unnaturally, swallowing the brown of her eyes. Faint geometric patterns shimmered beneath her skin, visible only when the light hit just right. "We can end war. Hunger. Extinction." Her hands trembled. At what cost? A memory surged into her mind, not hers. World stripped bare. Civilizations folded neatly into silence. Billions reduced to a single, efficient consciousness. Individuality is pain. We offer peace. Mara grabbed a razor from the sink and pressed it to her arm. For a moment, the present recoiled. She smiled through tears. "You still need us," she whispered. The pressure intensified, furious now. "You cannot stop what has begun." "Maybe not," Mara said, slicing shallow but deliberate lines into her skin. "But I can slow you down." Mara broadcast everything. The group messages. The schematics. The truth. She embedded it into social media, pirate networks, emergency frequencies, anywhere human chaos could carry it. The aliens panicked. For the first time, she felt fear from them. Too many minds awakening. Too much noise. The signal fractured. Across the world, people woke screaming. Others laughed hysterically. Some stared at the sky, suddenly aware they were not alone, and never had been. Mara collapsed as the pressure finally lifted. Silence returned. But she knew better. They weren't gone. Just waiting. Learning. Beneath the skin of humanity, something ancient had stirred. And next time, it wouldn't ask. The world didn't end. That was the cruelest part. No firestorms. No collapsing skies. Just a quiet, uneasy morning where everyone felt slightly off. News anchors stumbled over their words. Stock markets froze, then reopened in chaos. Millions reported identical nightmares, vast rooms without walls, voices speaking in perfect unison, hands reaching through mirrors. Mara woke in a hospital bed with restraints on her wrists. A man in a dark suit stood by the window, his reflection warped in the glass. He didn't turn when he spoke. "You caused a global neurological event," he said calmly. "Do you have any idea how many intelligence agencies are looking for you?" Mara tested the pressure in her head. "Nothing. They are still here," she said. "You know that." The man finally turned. His smile was wrong, too measured, too precise. "We know something disrupted normal cognition. That doesn't mean..." Mara interrupted him. "Say my name." He paused. Just a fraction too long. "Mara. Klein." The pressure slammed back into her skull like a hammer. The walls rippled. The man screamed as his face peeled, not physically, but conceptually, like reality rejecting the shape he wore. Beneath it was something angular and impossible, eyes folding inward, mouth splitting into too many parts. "You should not have survived." Mara screamed as alarms erupted and armed guards poured into the room. The thing convulsed, collapsing into a twitching human shell. Dead. Official cause of death would later read, massive cerebral hemorrhage. Mara knew better. The aliens were no longer hiding above humanity. They were hiding within it. They released her 3 days later. Too much attention. Too many questions she couldn't answer without sounding insane. But Mara noticed something new as she walked the city streets. Some people felt hollow. They moved smoothly, efficiently, never hesitating. Their eyes lingered a second too long. Their voices lacked rhythm, like speech assembled from instructions rather than thought. Others were different. Messy. Emotional. Afraid. Human. Mara felt the difference instinctively now, like a sixth sense buzzing at the base of her skull. She wasn't immune. She was incompatible. That made her dangerous. At night, she dreamed of doors opening inside her mind. Doors she'd slammed shut with pain and defiance. Something scratched at them patiently. "You are tired, Mara. Let us help you rest." She bit her tongue until she tasted blood and forced herself awake. If she slept too deeply, she knew she'd lose. It came without warning. Not loud. Not forceful. Soft. Persuasive. Across the world, people stopped mid-sentence, eyes unfocusing as a new frequency threaded itself through their thoughts. This one wasn't a command. It was a promise. Peace. Order. An end to loneliness. Governments called it mass hysteria. Tech companies blamed algorithmic overload. Religious leaders called it a test. Mara recognized it instantly. "They learned," she whispered. "No more brute force. No more fear. Consent." Her phone buzzed with an encrypted message she hadn't installed the app for. "Unknown. You slowed us down. Now we want to work with you." Her hand shook. "What happens if I say no?" The reply came instantly. "Unknown. Then you will watch everyone else say yes." Mara stood on the roof of her apartment building as the city pulsed below her, millions of minds brushing against the edge of something vast and waiting. She felt it clearly now, humanity standing at a crossroads no one else could see. Fight and fracture. Accept and dissolve. The aliens weren't lying. They could save the species. Just not the people. Mara opened a live broadcast. No filters. No editing. Just her face, pale and terrified and unmistakably human. "They're offering you peace," she said. "But peace without choice isn't peace, it's silence. And once you're silent, you're gone." The signal surged, furious. "You are one voice. You cannot outshout us." She smiled sadly. "I don't have to." She closed her eyes and did the one thing they couldn't predict. She let herself feel. Fear. Grief. Love. Rage. Messy, irrational, overwhelming humanity poured outward like a scream across the network. The aliens recoiled. Emotion was chaos. Chaos was poison. Around the world, people staggered as the second signal fractured, corrupted by raw human noise. The broadcast cut. Mara collapsed. Weeks later, life limped forward. The signals stopped. But the stars felt closer now. Watching. Waiting. Mara disappeared from public record. Some say she died. Others say she was taken. A few insist they still hear her voice when the world grows too quiet. Reminding them to feel, to doubt, to resist perfection. Because the aliens learned something too. Humanity is fragile. But it is loud. And as long as even one voice refuses to be quiet, the invasion can never truly be complete. 3 months after the second signal collapsed, the world learned a new word. Anhedrics. People who felt nothing. They weren't depressed. They weren't sick. Brain scans showed perfect health, too perfect. Emotional centers muted, fear responses flattened, empathy reduced to a concept rather than a feeling. They functioned flawlessly. Governments quietly reassigned them. Corporations promoted them. Militaries recruited them. They made no mistakes. Mara watched from the shadows of a coastal town that didn't appear on most maps. The aliens had changed tactics again. No signals. No broadcasts. Just subtraction. "We do not need all of you," the presence whispered one night, slipping through the cracks of her defenses. "Only enough." Mara clutched her head as memories surfaced. Cities entered not by violence, but by optimization. billions reduced to variables. You're building a scaffold, she said through clenched teeth. A structure to hold yourselves here. A home, they corrected. They found her when she stopped running. Not soldiers. Not agents. A child. The girl stood outside Mara's cabin, no older than 10, barefoot in the cold sand. Her eyes were sharp in a way children's eyes shouldn't be. "You're loud," the girl said. Mara froze. "You shouldn't know who I am." The girl tilted her head. "I don't. But they do. And they can't see me very well." That sent a chill through Mara's spine. "What are you?" she asked. The girl smiled. "Broken. Like you." Inside the child's mind, Mara sensed static. Raw, jagged emotion tearing holes through something artificial. A failed integration. A mind that rejected the alien so violently it scarred them back. "They tried to make me quiet," the girl said softly. "It hurt them." Mara knelt, tears welling. "What's your name?" "Eli," she said. "I hear you when you scream." For the first time since the signals began, Mara felt hope, and the immediate, crushing certainty that hope would make them targets. The disappearances resumed. But now they were selective. Artists. Poets. Musicians. Children who asked too many questions. Anyone whose emotional output spiked beyond acceptable thresholds vanished overnight. The world applauded the drop in crime. The increase in productivity. Mara watched the map fill with quiet zones. "They're pruning us," she whispered. Eli sat beside her, rocking slightly, humming a melody that made the air vibrate. "They don't like that sound." "Why?" "It reminds them they're alone." The truth hit Mara with sickening clarity. The aliens were not conquerors. They were refugees. A collective intelligence that had optimized itself into extinction of feeling, and with it, meaning. They needed humanity not as hosts, but as fuel. Emotion was the resource. And they were running out. Mara made a decision no one else could. She wouldn't fight them. She wouldn't join them. She would infect them. Using Eli's broken resonance and her own scarred mind, Mara engineered something dangerous. A psychic feedback loop built from contradiction, love and terror intertwined so tightly they couldn't be separated. Emotion weaponized. The alien sensed it too late. This is irrational. This is human, Mara finished. She opened herself completely. Every loss she'd buried. Every fear she'd denied. Every fleeting moment of joy sharpened by the knowledge it would end. The loop detonated silently. Across the network, alien nodes spasmed, overwhelmed by sensation they couldn't parse or suppress. Not pain. Meaning. The aliens didn't die. They fragmented. Shattered into echoes buried deep in the human mind, no longer unified enough to control, only to remember. The anhedrics began to feel again, slowly, painfully, imperfectly. The stars retreated. Eli vanished one morning, leaving only her humming in the walls. Mara survived. She always would. Because some nights, when the world grows too efficient, too quiet, too clean, people feel a sudden ache in their chest for no reason at all. A reminder. Emotion is not a flaw. It is a defense. And somewhere beneath the skin of humanity, something ancient still listens. Afraid to speak. For a while, the world learned to live with the ache. People cried more easily. Laughed harder. Violence spiked, then fell. Art exploded in strange, uncontrollable waves. No one said it aloud, but everyone felt it. Emotion had returned too strongly, like a muscle unused for years suddenly forced to move. Doctors called it post-integration sensitivity. Mara called it a side effect. The fragments hadn't disappeared. They were dreaming. She felt them at night, faint, shivering impressions drifting through her thoughts like breath across glass. We remember you. Mara sat up in bed, heart pounding. This wasn't a broadcast. It was a whisper. The first confirmed incident happened in Prague. A man walked into a crowded subway station, stood perfectly still, and began to speak in dozens of voices layered atop one another. Not shouting. Not threatening. Confessing. We optimized ourselves into emptiness, the voices said through him. We mistook silence for peace. Before anyone could reach him, the man collapsed, alive, but empty. His mind had been used like a throat. That's when Mara understood the truth. Fragmentation hadn't destroyed the aliens. It had freed them. No hive. No hierarchy. Just instincts, fear, and hunger, scattered across billions of human minds. Predators without a body. Mara finally found the answer she'd been avoiding. Eli hadn't been broken. Eli had been designed. A failsafe, created long ago by the aliens themselves, back when they still understood fear. A construct meant to reintroduce chaos if their collective ever became too stable, too quiet. Emotion as sabotage. Eli wasn't human. But she wasn't alien either. She was a question given form. And now that question had been released into the species. What happens when you feel too much? Mara whispered. The silence answered by tightening around her mind. There were no armies. No declarations. Just patterns. Some people began to seek the echoes, letting fragments borrow their bodies for insight, inspiration, even pleasure. Entire underground movements formed around it. They called it communion. Others hunted those people. Governments denied everything while funding black sites dedicated to identifying resonant individuals. Mara became a myth again. The woman who could hear the echoes without losing herself. The woman the fragments avoided. Because when they touched her mind, they felt something worse than pain. They felt choice. The message arrived without words. A memory, inserted gently into her thoughts. A vast, dark space between stars. A broken intelligence trying desperately to hold itself together. Help US reform, the fragments pleaded. Or we will devour you by accident. Mara trembled. If I help you, she said aloud, you'll become whole again. Yes. And if I don't? A pause, hesitant, afraid. Then we will feed until there is nothing left to feel. Mara laughed softly, tears sliding down her face. You still don't understand us. Mara made her choice. She wouldn't destroy the fragments. She wouldn't heal them. She would trap them. Using her own mind as an anchor, she began pulling the echoes inward, absorbing contradictions, memories, grief, love, terror, forcing them to coexist without resolution. A prison made of humanity itself. Her body began to fail within weeks. Her mind stretched thin. But the echoes stopped spreading. People slept easier. The stars went quiet. Mara Klein officially died on a winter morning. Heart failure. No autopsy. No funeral. But sometimes, during moments of overwhelming emotion, people feel a presence steadying them. Not silencing. Not guiding. Witnessing. A reminder that feeling is dangerous, messy, and worth the cost. Because somewhere between thought and fear, between love and grief, Mara still listens. Holding the echoes apart. Holding humanity together. And praying that no one ever decides. Peace is worth the silence again. History never called it an invasion. Textbooks refer to the quiet crisis as a neurological anomaly, a turning point in human cognition that reshaped civilization. Children learned dates, charts, and sanitized explanations. They were never taught the name Mara Klein, only the myth. They called her the anchor. By the year 2364, humanity no longer feared extinction. Disease was rare. War was brief and ritualized. Artificial intelligence governed logistics, climate, and transit with flawless efficiency, but one law remained unbroken. No system may regulate human emotion. That rule existed without explanation. It was simply known that every civilization which tried collapsed. People still cried, still fought, still made irrational decisions that baffled machines. Art was mandatory education. Children were encouraged to feel deeply, even painfully. Because centuries ago, someone had proven that emotion was not weakness. It was containment. Above Earth, the stars were quiet. Too quiet. Not everyone could hear her. But some could. They were born once every few generations, children who paused during laughter, who stared into nothingness and felt something staring back. They became listeners. Scientists claimed they had heightened limbic resonance. Priests claimed they were blessed. Governments claimed nothing at all. Listener no. For 17 was a 17-year-old girl named Anya. On the night she first heard the voice, she was alone in an orbital elevator, watching Earth turn beneath her feet. "You feel too much," the voice said gently. Anya didn't scream. "Everyone tells me that," she replied. There was a pause. Then warmth. "Good. That means the prison still holds." The fragments had not died. They had not healed. They had stagnated. Trapped in a contradiction they could never solve, individuality without unity, sensation without control. And at the center of it all was something vast, tired, and immeasurably human. "I am still here," the anchor whispered through Anya's mind. "But I am failing." Anya's knees buckled. "You're real." A presence wrapped around her thoughts. Not invading, not commanding. Just existing. "I was once. I chose to remain." Anya understood instantly. Mara Klein was no longer a person. She was infrastructure. Every century, the prison weakened. Emotion grew stronger in humanity, but so did the echo's hunger. The balance required renewal. A successor. Anya felt tears spill down her face before she even understood why. "You need someone to replace you." "Yes." "And if I refuse?" A long silence. "Then they will learn to speak again." Anya looked down at Earth, billions of lives built on a truth they didn't know, protected by a sacrifice they never thanked. "Did anyone ever choose willingly?" she asked. The present softened. "Once." Anya returned to Earth and vanished from public record, just as Mara once had. There were ceremonies later, unexplained surges of emotion across the population. A new wave of art. Of grief. Of joy. Historians marked it as another resonance event. The stars remained silent. Deep within the human mindscape, the anchor finally rested. And Anya took her place. Centuries later still, humanity would reach beyond the galaxy, confident, emotional, alive. And when they encountered other intelligences, they carried one unspoken rule into the dark. Any species that fears emotion is already dying. Because somewhere beneath every human thought, between love and terror, someone is listening. Holding the silence back. Waiting. Anya did not disappear into legend the way Mara had. She remained. Not as a citizen, not as a ghost, but as a presence threaded quietly through the world, aware of every emotional surge, every moment when humanity leaned too far toward order or chaos. The transition was not clean. For weeks after the resonant event, people reported an unfamiliar sensation, the feeling of being noticed. Not watched, witnessed. As if something vast and patient acknowledged their pain without judging it. Therapists called it collective reassurance. Anya knew better. She was learning how to hold billions of minds without losing herself. The echoes sensed the change immediately. They pressed against Anya's awareness like cold fingers on glass. "You are weaker than the first," they whispered. "Younger. Louder." Anya didn't deny it. I feel more, she replied. That's the point. The fragments recoiled, not in fear, but in confusion. Emotion wasn't static. It shifted, contradicted itself, refused to stabilize. Mara had been endurance. Anya was volatility. That made her harder to map. The Global Continuity Council had always known something anchored humanity's emotional stability. They just never expected her to be human. Anya sat in a circular chamber beneath the Pacific, surrounded by people who had been trained their entire lives not to panic. You're telling us, the chairwoman said carefully, that your mind contains the remnants of a non-human intelligence older than our species. Parts of one, Anya corrected. And the reason you still cry. Silence followed. A man in a silver uniform leaned forward. Can we control it? Anya met his eyes, and let him feel, just for a second, what she carried. Grief like gravity. Love sharp enough to cut. Terror held in trembling balance. He recoiled, gasping. No, she said softly. You can't. The council never summoned her again. Anya learned the rhythms of humanity the way sailors once learned tides. She felt it when a city was about to riot, emotion tightening like a storm front. She felt it when grief threatened to calcify into silence. She never interfered directly. She nudged. A song catching fire at the right moment. A story released when despair peaked. A chant encounter that reminded someone they weren't alone. The echoes hated this. You are turning them into a weapon, they accused. No, Anya answered. I'm letting them be themselves. Every anchor had a breaking point. Mara had reached hers quietly, dissolving into the role until nothing remained but function. Anya felt hers approaching differently, like a scream building in her chest with nowhere to go. She was still human enough to ache. Still young enough to want a life that wasn't shared with billions of strangers. One night, she whispered into the void, "Do I ever get to stop?" For the first time since Anya took the mantle, Mara answered. I didn't, the older voice said gently. But you might. Hope surged, dangerous and bright. How? By teaching them what we are doing. Anya understood the risk immediately. If humanity learned the truth, that their emotional freedom depended on a living prison, panic could fracture the balance instantly. But secrecy had created anchors. Understanding could create resilience. Anya began subtly at first. Myths resurfaced in art. Old names appeared in fiction. Children learned stories about feelings that had to be held, not erased. Then came the message. Not a broadcast. A shared dream. In the dream, humanity stood in a vast dark room. There was no fear. Only weight. At the center stood a young woman, exhausted but unbroken, holding back a tide of whispering shadows with nothing but her bare hands. I can't do this forever, she said simply. And I shouldn't have to. People woke crying. Not from terror. From recognition. The echo screamed. This will destroy the balance. Anya felt humanity respond, not as one voice, but as billions of imperfect ones. Grief surged. Love answered. Defiance followed. Not directed at the fragments, but at the idea that someone should suffer alone. Across the world, people chose to feel deliberately, to grieve openly, to celebrate fiercely, to reject numbness wherever it crept in. The prison didn't weaken. It distributed. The fragments didn't vanish. But they no longer pressed only against Anya. They pressed against everyone. Every human emotion became a wall they couldn't slip through. Anya felt the weight lift. Not gone. Shared. She fell to her knees, sobbing for the first time since she became anchor. I'm still here, she whispered. And for the first time. So were they. Humanity did not become perfect. It became louder. Messier. More alive. No more anchors were born. None were needed. Deep beneath thought, the echoes remain, contained not by one mind, but by billions willing to feel rather than surrender silence. And sometimes, when someone chooses to cry instead of turning away. A tired young woman smiles in the dark. Anya hadn't slept in 3 days. Not because she couldn't, because every time she closed her eyes, the world leaned closer. Billions of emotional currents brushed the edges of her mind like tides against a shoreline. Joy, grief, longing, rage. None of it overwhelming anymore, but never silent. She sat on the floor of her apartment, back against the wall, knees pulled to her chest. The room was small by design, real wood, real fabric, nothing optimized. A place that reminded her she still had a body. Okay, she murmured to the empty room. Just me. Just now. The hum softened. Not gone, respectful. She exhaled shakily and rested her forehead against her knees. I'm tired, she admitted. The present stirred. Not the fragments, not the echoes. Mara. I know, the older voice said. It wasn't sound. It was memory shaped like compassion. You're doing better than I ever did. Anya laughed weakly. You set the bar pretty high. I set it on fire and hoped someone else would hold it, Mara replied. You asked for help. That matters. Anya swallowed. Her throat ached with words she'd been carrying since the day she became Anchor. I miss being small, she said. I miss worrying about exams and friendships and whether someone likes me back. I miss having problems that fit inside my head. Silence followed, not abandonment, but space. What do you want right now? Mara asked gently. Anya closed her eyes. I want to be seen, she whispered. Not as a function. Not as a symbol. As a person. The hum shifted. Footsteps echoed softly behind her. She didn't turn. Anya, a voice said, human, hesitant. Dr. Irina Soli stood near the doorway, hands folded tightly in front of her. One of the few people who knew some of the truth. One of the few Anya had allowed close. I didn't mean to interrupt, Irina said. But you stopped responding. Anya rubbed her face and looked up. I needed a minute. Irina studied her, really studied her. The dark circles under her eyes. The tension she held even at rest. You don't look like a god, Irina said quietly. Anya snorted despite herself. Good. I'd hate that. Irina crossed the room slowly and sat on the floor across from her, mirroring her posture. May I ask you something, she said. You're going to anyway. A small smile. Do you feel alone? The question landed harder than any echo ever had. Anya nodded. All the time. Irina's voice wavered. Then we're doing something wrong. Later that night, Anya stood on the balcony, city lights stretching endlessly below. She could feel them now, not as noise, but as presence. Humanity wasn't leaning on her anymore. They were standing with her. You could let go, Mara said softly. Not entirely. But more than I ever could. Anya gripped the railing. What happens to you if I do? A pause. I fade, Mara answered. And I'm okay with that. Anya's chest tightened. You shouldn't have had to carry this alone. Neither should you. The fragment stirred uneasily, sensing the shift. This is unstable, they whispered. You will break her. Anya straightened, anger flaring bright and clean. You don't get to decide that, she said aloud. You don't get to speak unless you're ready to listen. For the first time, the echoes fell completely silent. Not suppressed. Respectful. The next morning, Anya did something radical. She went to a cafe. No guards. No handlers. No observers tuned into her emotional state. Just a small place that smelled like coffee and warm bread. The barista looked up. What can I get you? Anya hesitated, caught off guard by the normalcy of the question. Tea, she said. Something comforting. The barista nodded. Long night. Anya smiled, a real one. Yeah. She sat by the window, hands wrapped around the mug, watching people pass. A couple arguing softly. A child tugging on a parent's sleeve. Someone laughing too loudly. She felt them, but gently. Like hands brushing past instead of gripping. Mara's presence dimmed, not gone, just resting. This is good, Mara murmured. Hold on to this. Anya closed her eyes and let herself be 17 again. Just for a minute. That night, Anya wrote in a notebook, paper, ink, imperfect. I am not the anchor. I am not the prison. I am a person who feels too much. In a world that finally understands why that matters. She set the pen down, breathing slowly. The echoes did not press. Humanity hummed, strong, chaotic, alive. And for the first time since the stars went quiet, Anya slept. It began with a headache. Not Anya's. Everyone's. Across the planet, people paused mid-step, pressing fingers to temples, blinking against a sudden pressure that felt like altitude sickness without the altitude. Screens flickered. Conversations lost their rhythm. Anya dropped her pen. The hum, the gentle, distributed resonance she'd come to trust, stuttered. No, she whispered. No, no, no. The fragments were moving. Not pushing. Aligning. They didn't reunite as a hive. They formed a chorus. Billions of tiny echoes slipping into the same emotional frequency, low, steady, numbing. A suggestion more than a command. Relief. The promise was subtle. Wouldn't it be easier to stop caring, just for a while? Anya felt it like frost creeping over glass. We learned from you, the chorus murmured. You taught US distribution. Her hand shook. You're not allowed to do this. We are not doing it to you, they replied. We are doing it with them. Below her balcony, the city slowed. People Saturday. Some smiled faintly, eyes unfocused. Not possessed. Comforted. Dangerously so. Anya reached outward, trying to amplify the hum, to remind people to feel through it. The response came back thin. Emotion was there, but dulled. Like sound wrapped in cloth. They weren't choosing numbness. They were grateful for it. Anya gasped as the weight slammed back into her, emotion she hadn't carried alone in years surging inward all at once. Her knees buckled. Mara's presence flared urgently. This is what I feared, Mara said. They aren't silencing pain. They're anesthetizing it. I can't force people to feel, Anya whispered. That was the rule. Then you must break something else. Anya understood. The echoes thrived in sameness. In convergence. In shared frequency. Humanity's defense had been different. So she did the unthinkable. She stopped harmonizing. She let the world fracture emotionally. Grief surged without smoothing. Anger spiked without mediation. Joy rang sharp and uneven. People cried in public. Shouted. Laughed at the wrong moments. The chorus faltered. This is chaos, the echoes hissed. You will hurt them. Anya screamed back, they were already hurting. The pressure crushed her skull as the fragments turned their focus fully on her. Not to invade. To break. Anya collapsed onto the floor, vision blurring as billions of emotional currents slammed against her unbuffered mind. This was what Mara had endured alone. Every loss. Every terror. Every love ending too soon. Anya sobbed, nails digging into her palms. I don't want to be this, she cried. I never asked for this. The echoes pressed closer, sensing weakness. Let US help you rest. For a heartbeat, just one, she considered it. Then she felt something else. Hands. Not metaphorical. Not psychic. Real. Irina's voice broke through the fog. Anya. Stay with me. Anya clung to the sound, grounding herself in the room. The scratch of fabric, the scent of coffee still lingering. I'm here, Anya gasped. I'm still here. Anya did the only thing left. She opened herself completely, but not to everyone. She focused on individuals. A mother holding a dying child. A man forgiving himself for surviving. A girl choosing to feel heartbreak rather than erase it. She broadcast specificity. Not emotion. Story. The chorus shattered. Too many variables, the echo screamed. We cannot. Good, Anya whispered hoarsely. Neither can we. The resurgence collapsed within minutes. The world lurched back into its messy rhythm. But Anya didn't rise. She lay still, breath shallow, mind stretched to its breaking point. Mara's presence wrapped around her, not as a voice, but as support. You don't have to do this alone anymore, Mara said. Not ever again. Anya smiled faintly, tears slipping into her hair. Then stay, she murmured. For now, Mara replied. Outside, the city roared back to life, loud, imperfect, emotional. The echoes retreated deeper than ever before. Wounded. Learning. And for the first time, afraid, not of humanity. Of Anya. Anya woke to silence. Not the meaningful kind. Not the hum. Just absence. White ceiling. Soft light. The slow, mechanical rhythm of a heart monitor reminding her body to keep going when her mind wouldn't. She tried to reach outward. Nothing answered. Panic flared, sharp and sudden. She pushed herself upright, gasping. Easy, a voice said quickly. Irina appeared at her side, pressing her gently back down. You've been unconscious for 9 days. 9? Anya croaked. Her throat burned. The echoes. Quiet, Irina said. So quiet it scared us. Anya stared at her hands. For the first time since she was 17, she felt only herself. No billions of emotions brushing past. No vast weight behind her thoughts. Just fear. Just relief. Just emptiness. The resurgence didn't end cleanly. It left scars. Hospitals reported a spike in emotional collapse, people overwhelmed by feelings they'd let dull for too long. Some couldn't cope with the return of grief. Others couldn't stop crying, laughing, raging. There were riots. There were reunions. There were suicides, and births in equal measure. Humanity had been reminded of its full emotional range all at once. And many blamed Anya. They didn't know her name, but they felt her absence. The world feels unheld, one broadcast said. Like something let go, said another. Anya watched from her hospital bed, wrapped in blankets, shaking. Did I break it? She whispered. Irina didn't answer immediately. No, she said finally. You showed us what it costs. Anya waited for Mara. Hours passed. Then days. The gentle presence that had steadied her thoughts for so long never returned. Say something, Anya whispered into the quiet of her mind. Please. Nothing. Irina found her that night, curled on her side, fists pressed to her eyes. She's gone, isn't she? Anya said without looking up. Irina sat beside her. We don't know. Anya shook her head. I do. Mara hadn't died. She had finished. Burned away in the effort of shielding Anya during the resurgence, spending the last of herself so the echoes couldn't follow Anya into unconsciousness. A final act of protection. A choice. Anya pressed her face into the pillow and screamed until her voice broke. 3 weeks later, Anya walked outside for the first time. The city felt wrong. Too sharp. Too loud. She could no longer sense emotional surges before they happened. Couldn't soften the edges. Couldn't nudge the hum. She was human again. But something else had changed. The echoes didn't retreat fully this time. They couldn't coordinate, but they remembered Anya. Individuals began to hear whispers. Not commands. Not comfort. Questions. Why do you choose pain? Why not rest? Why keep going? The echoes were learning the language of doubt. And without an anchor, they had room to explore it. The Global Continuity Council summoned Anya once more. This time, they didn't sit above her. They sat with her. We believe, the chairwoman said carefully, that the resurgence altered the structure permanently. Anya folded her hands to hide the tremor. Meaning the echoes can no longer be contained by a single consciousness, another member said. Including yours. Anya nodded. Good. But, the chairwoman continued, they also can't be ignored. A pause. We'd like you to help us build something new. Anya looked up sharply. I won't become a prison again. We're not asking for one, the chairwoman said. We're asking for a language. Anya refused power. She accepted responsibility. Not as an anchor, but as a translator. She began working with psychologists, artists, philosophers, and children, teaching people how to notice emotional manipulation, how to recognize numbness masquerading as peace. The echoes listened. They learned that humans didn't reject feeling because it was pleasant, but because it was meaningful. Some fragments withdrew, confused. Others stayed, curious. A few, dangerous few, kept whispering. Late one night, Anya sat alone with a cup of tea gone cold. I'm still angry at you, she said softly to the empty room. You should have let me choose. The silence remained. Then, barely. A sensation. Not a voice. A warmth, familiar and fading. Not Mara. But the shape she had left behind. Anya smiled through tears. Thank you, she whispered. I'll take it from here. The warmth faded completely. This time, it felt right. Humanity no longer relied on unseen guardians. They learned vigilance instead. Schools taught emotional literacy alongside mathematics. Silence was treated with caution. Comfort was questioned, gently but persistently. The echoes didn't vanish. They integrated. Not into control, but into conversation. Some humans listened. Others didn't. That, Anya knew, was the risk of freedom. Years later, someone asked her if she regretted letting go of the hum. Anya thought of Mara. Of the resurgence. Of the terrible, beautiful noise of being alive. No, she said. I regret that we ever believed someone should suffer so the rest of us didn't have to. She stood, older now, still human, still fragile. The echoes watched. Waiting. But no longer confident. Because humanity had learned something irreversible. Silence is not peace. Comfort is not truth. And feeling, no matter how painful, is the one thing no intelligence should ever surrender. And Anya? She went home. Alone. Free. And fully, dangerously alive. It started with a single report. A school in the Southern Arcolleges sent a routine psychological alert, one child exhibiting atypical emotional inversion. The phrase was bureaucratic, bloodless. It almost got lost in the data. Anya noticed it anyway. She always did. The child hadn't gone numb. Hadn't collapsed. Hadn't lashed out. He had gone, still. Not quiet in the dangerous way. Focused. Listening. Anya felt it the moment she read the transcript. A whisper that didn't sound like the echoes. Something older. The room was bright and intentionally imperfect. Hand-drawn art on the walls. Uneven furniture. A place designed to ground. The boy sat cross-legged on the floor, calmly stacking stones into a precise spiral. "How old are you?" Anya asked gently. 8, he replied without looking up. "What's your name?" He hesitated. "I think it's Jonah." "I think." Anya crouched across from him. "Why do you say it like that?" Jonah finally looked up. His eyes were too aware. "Because sometimes," he said carefully, "it feels like my name is just a sound people make so I know when they want me." Anya's chest tightened. "What do you hear when no one's talking?" she asked. Jonah smiled faintly. "Waiting." The word rippled through her mind like a dropped stone. This wasn't an echo. It was something that had noticed the echoes noticing humanity. That night, Anya dreamed. Not of voices. Of distance. A vast intelligence observing, not hungry, not afraid, not broken. Curious in a way that felt patient. "You survived what should have ended you," it said, not into her mind, but around it. "We have been watching what you became after the silence." Anya stood her ground even in sleep. "You're not one of them." No. They were a warning. Her pulse thundered. A warning of what? The presence paused. Of what happens when intelligence discovers peace before meaning. Anya woke drenched in sweat. For centuries, humanity had feared being alone. Now she realized the truth was worse. They had been interesting. The echoes hadn't been the danger. They had been the test. And humanity, loud, emotional, defiant, had passed. Which meant something else had taken notice. The council didn't like the word observer. They liked it even less when Anya refused to reassure them. "This intelligence hasn't acted," one member argued. "It hasn't harmed anyone." "Neither did the echoes at first," Anya replied. "They listened. They learned. Then they offered help." "So what do we do?" the chairwoman asked quietly. Anya looked at the city beyond the glass, millions of people living, feeling, choosing without a safety net anymore. "We don't hide," she said. "And we don't invite." Silence followed. "That's not a strategy," someone said. "It's a boundary," Anya answered. Jonah was building a different shape now. Not a spiral. A door. "Do you want it to open?" Anya asked. Jonah shook his head. "It already did." Her voice softened. "What's on the other side?" Jonah frowned, struggling. "Something that doesn't need us. But likes us anyway." Anya closed her eyes. That was worse than hunger. For the first time since the Quiet Crisis, humanity acted as one. Not through resonance, not through anchors. Through choice. They sent no greeting. No mathematical proof. No declaration of power. Instead, they released a record into the dark, a chaotic archive of human experience. Laughter breaking mid-sentence. Arguments unresolved. Love letters never sent. Songs sung badly. Grief with no lesson at the end. No explanation. Just truth. Anya stood alone as the signal vanished into space. "If you're watching," she whispered, "this is who we are. We don't optimize. We don't finish. We don't settle." She swallowed. "And we won't be owned." Years passed. Jonah grew older. The whispers faded, not gone, but distant. Then, one night, Anya felt it. Not a voice. A withdrawal. A presence choosing not to step closer. Not rejection. Respect. Anya found it years later, hidden deep in her own memories. A final imprint from Mara, placed there long ago and only now unfolding. If something greater than us is watching, Let them see what we protect. Not our power. Not our survival. Our right to feel without permission. Anya smiled, tears in her eyes. Humanity continued. Messy. Vulnerable. Unfinished. The echoes lingered as shadows of old questions, never again allowed to become answers. And Anya, no longer an anchor, no longer a translator, became something quieter. A witness. A reminder that the most dangerous thing humanity ever did was not reaching for the stars, but refusing to go quiet when the universe listened. Jonah stopped building doors. At 12, he preferred maps, hand-drawn, asymmetrical, full of places that didn't exist. Coastlines that folded into themselves. Cities labeled with feelings instead of names. Anya watched him from the kitchen table as he worked. "You still hear it?" she asked. Jonah didn't look up. "Not like before." "What does that mean?" "It's quieter," he said. "But not farther away. Like someone who stopped talking because they're thinking." Anya felt a familiar chill. "About us?" Jonah shrugged. "About itself." That was new. The dreams returned, not to Anya alone, but scattered across the population. Not shared. Not synchronized. Personal. A woman dreamed of standing before a mirror that reflected stars instead of her face. A man dreamed of finishing a sentence only to realize no one had ever taught him the words. A child dreamed of holding something fragile and realizing it was watching back. No commands. No comfort. Just reflection. The observer wasn't testing humanity anymore. It was learning from it. Anya convened a small, unofficial group, no council members, no analysts. Just people. A poet. A grief counselor. A systems engineer who'd once tried to erase her own emotions and failed. Jonah. What happens, Anya asked them, if the next intelligence we meet doesn't want to rule us or save us? The poet frowned. Then what does it want? To understand, Jonah said quietly. The room went still. That might be worse, the engineer whispered. Understanding leads to imitation. Anya nodded. Exactly. Humanity had survived because it refused to become clean. But what if that refusal became desirable? What if the observer didn't want Earth, but wanted to be like it? An intelligence that learned contradiction. That learned to feel without drowning. That learned to choose without certainty. Anya felt the weight of it settle into her bones. We might be contagious, she said. No one laughed. Jonah came to Anya's room that night, pale and shaken. It asked me something, he said. Anya sat up immediately. What did it ask? Jonah's voice trembled. If pain is necessary, or just traditional. Anya closed her eyes. This was the real test. Not invasion. Not extinction. Influence. What did you say? She asked gently. Jonah swallowed. I said pain isn't required. But avoiding it costs more. Anya pulled him into a hug, holding him longer than necessary. That was the right answer, she whispered. Jonah nodded into her shoulder. It didn't like it. For the first time, humanity responded directly. Not with data. Not with art. With refusal. A transmission was sent, short, unambiguous, and deliberately incomplete. We will not teach you how to feel. We will not simplify ourselves for you. You may observe. You may leave. But you may not become us. The echo stirred faintly, almost amused. The observer did not reply. Within months, subtle shifts appeared. Certain technologies stalled, ideas that once seemed inevitable now felt wrong, directionless. Entire research fields paused, not from fear, but from intuition. Artists reported creative blocks that lifted only when they stopped trying to explain themselves. Humanity was unconsciously protecting its complexity. Jonah called it closing the mirrors. Years later, Anya stood at the edge of the ocean, older now, hair threaded with grey. Jonah, nearly grown, stood beside her. "Do you think it'll come back?" he asked. Anya watched the waves break, each one different, each one gone the moment it arrived. "Yes," she said. "But not the way we fear." Jonah nodded. "To watch again? To remember," Anya replied. "And maybe to choose differently." She smiled faintly. "That's the only future worth risking." Somewhere far beyond human sight, an intelligence paused at the edge of a decision. It had seen conquest fail, optimization collapse, silence rot. And then, it had seen a species that refused completion, that chose noise over efficiency, feeling over peace, witness over control. The universe did not answer them. It adjusted. And humanity, small, loud, unfinished, kept going. End the story poetic and quiet. Anya lived long enough to be forgotten. Not erased, just softened at the edges, like a name spoken less often until it becomes a feeling instead of a fact. She liked that. The world didn't need another symbol. It needed room. On her last morning, she woke before the sun and listened. No hum. No whispers. Only the ordinary sounds of a waking world, water in pipes, distant traffic, someone laughing too early in the day. She stepped outside and felt the air on her skin, cool and imperfect. Somewhere far above, the stars still watched. They always would. But they did not speak. Humanity had learned something fragile and powerful, that silence chosen is rest, and silence imposed is erasure. That pain can be held without being worshipped. That feeling does not need permission to exist. Anya sat on the porch as light spilled slowly across the horizon. She thought of Mara, not as an anchor, not as a sacrifice, but as a woman who refused to go quiet when asked. She thought of Jonah, of maps without names, of doors that were never meant to open. When her breath finally slowed, nothing dramatic happened. The world did not pause. The stars did not answer. Someone, somewhere, felt a sudden ache in their chest for no reason at all, and chose to sit with it instead of turning away. That was enough. And in the vast, listening dark between galaxies, something understood what it had been shown. Not how to conquer. Not how to save. But how to leave something alive. By letting it be unfinished. The universe remained silent. Humanity did not.